everybody, come on in. I wanted to answer a comment I got, and I forgot the person that did it, and I was going to copy that out, but I couldn't find it again. It just disappeared for me. So I think I remember most of what they were asking, and what they were afraid of is as winter comes on, as it does, and it will, it gets colder and colder outside, especially if you live in the northern parts of different countries. Here, it can get -15, it can be very cold, Fahrenheit. So you have to be prepared. And my two windows here, and I'll show you the other one, are northern windows. So they're not getting as much light in the daytime, and I'll show you the west windows, which get more light in the daytime, and I'm only having to worry about if it's real cold. How are my orchids going to do in these northern windows? Now, most of the time they do okay. But if it gets too cold, now if you feel the glass, it's double pane glass, but if it's so freezing outside, you don't want your leaves near or touching that glass, because it'll just be too cold for them, and they could get a lot of health problems like fungus, or just freeze and turn to mush. So I've never had that happen, but I'm careful how I do and what I do in each windows. Now the northern windows, if we have, they stick out from the house, which even makes them a little colder. So Jack put insulation under the bottom part to keep the shelf not from freezing or being that cold. So the glass, on the other hand, is I don't put my orchids, especially if I know it's getting to the colder time of winter. Now, most of the year, they're perfectly fine anywhere on these windows. And even on a north window, they can stay there all summer. They get lots of light. I move my orchids out onto the patio, but if you wanted to keep them in your northern windows, I have, and they do fine. So just make sure that you have some distance between your orchids. Like I have Fel Sogo Relax. Now I got this for Mother's Day from Rosemary, and it has started to bloom. And I've noticed that almost all my orchids are in spike. So she's looking really healthy. Now I don't want these leaves to be right up against the glass. So I try to keep them in the winter a little closer. And I have things in the back like glass, extra glass. I like the color. I like to, I don't know, the energy you get from having colored glass in a room, it to me gives me energy. So I've got the humidity, which comes right down to all of them, and none of them are touching the glass. And the warm air can circulate. And so also the other thing you want to consider is how cold your window is on the bottom. So if you have them on raised, well, these glass vases are not sitting right where it's cold. They're raised in a pot or something else. So the other thing you can do is if you have blinds at night when it's colder and your blinds are in the back, which I don't have. I only have these blinds that are in the front. Now they would keep the house warmer, but they won't do anything for the orchids, so I don't even use these. And I certainly don't use them in the summer because you don't need shade, no matter how hot it is outside from this northern windows. So I keep these ones here, and I will not worry unless they're predicting extremely cold weather. And I remember once after I got these windows, we had real cold weather, and I just took the orchids for the few nights it was like that, and I put them on the dining room table, and they were fine, and then I put them back. And I have had more orchids in here. I'm trying to condense a little. Anyway, so that's it for this window. And this other window over here, I want to, so even though this is a north window, they got plenty light. These orchids are all spiking and ready to bloom and looking healthy. So we're just going to move over to the other one, and I'll show you when I get there. Okay, so here's the other northern window, and this is from my kitchen sink. This is where I look to whenever I'm at the sink or in the kitchen, and I love the view, and that's why I do have colored glass in my window. And when you're placing stained glass or colored glass, one thing you have to consider is you don't have your orchids right in front of the stained glass, because what happens is they don't absorb through the stained glass, and I forget where I read this, but I have read it. They don't absorb all the healthy rays they need from natural sunlight when the sun is going through stained glass. So I don't have any right in front of this glass, or they're getting light from above too. So they're little things like if you have a lot of stained glass all the way around, then you must be a little more careful if your orchids are getting good light. Or you can use extra light, like we have the lighting that comes on in the night when it's dark. I put it on so they get extra light during the day. Usually after supper when we go to watch TV or a movie or something, I'll turn these on and I'll leave it till bedtime, maybe 10:30 or something, and then I shut them off. Don't leave your lights on all day. Like us, they do need some darkness. So these orchids are doing fine, and if you remember, now this was the last one I repotted that I got at a local store, and I changed from moss to bark, and it's doing wonderful still. So I haven't seen a lot of root growth yet, but it's still doing good. And of course it's not the growing season anymore for getting roots, but everything is in spike, and it's the same situation where you have only northern light, and keeping nothing is right close to that glass even now. You don't want the leaves, or at least give some space, so if you stuck your hand between the glass and your orchid, you would feel if it was too cold on your hand, because they shouldn't feel too cold. And even when you're watering them, you don't want cold water. Well, you don't want cold air either. Now, I grow them in the northern windows with no trouble, but I am careful. So now we're going to visit the two west windows, and then I'd like to show you the chickens and maybe a visit to Mom and some beautiful flowers that are down there. So I'll just get everything set up at the next window. Hi everyone. So this is a west window. It's also facing my kitchen. I also look at it all the time, and we usually sit just here on my left. And these windows get very hot in the summer. And I have blinds right up against the glass. So I didn't used to, and I couldn't keep my orchids here at all in the summer. Just too much heat and light when it's 100 degrees or 110 out there, or even 115 Fahrenheit, you do not want the heat that comes in this window. Now, another way of preventing the heat, if you don't have a curtain to put down, and even if you do, because I do this, I have some big sheets of cardboard with foil on one side, and I slip them in front of the windows, and then I put the curtains down to hold them there. And then I don't get too much heat, and they still get the light from the kitchen, and that, I just pick them off if the weather's fine and I don't have to worry about heat. So it gets unusually hot. We've had more rain here than normal. So that's what I do, and you can even use those sheets of cardboard, and you could put foil on one side on windows like my north windows, just to slip them in between the glass and your orchids for that time of year. And in the daytime, maybe it's warmer and you don't want to look at the cardboard, you can take it out if you design it so it's quick and easy to remove. But for sure at night when it always turns colder. So I always have orchids here and have for many years, and they always do really well. All of them, almost all of them in spike. I noticed this one's got 2 branches coming off an old spike, and I quit leaving old spikes on except for that one. I don't know why I did. I'm not expecting it to spike normally till later in the year because it flowered for a lot of the summer. And most of these are spiking, and I can pull those blinds down. And I will not put anything in there for winter, no cardboard. If I want to, I could, but I find just the heat from the house with the blinds down holds it fine. So I have most of these here all the time. I don't take them off. It's never so cold because this room, the warmth from it is fine for these windows, but over at the far side, and because well, these ones jut out too, but those ones do, but being in the north, they just are that much little colder in this side of the house. So it's going to be a beautiful orchid time. Oh, and seeing we're in this room, I have to show you, there's a big plant of mums outside. I got them from Rosemary, I think at Mother's Day. Mom got some and I got some, and then when they started to die off, I planted them outside. And they died off in the summer, but they came back, and I was afraid I wasn't going to get flowers from them because it was turning so cold. But look, and they're all opening now, and they're so pretty. And I'm so glad, but do you know, there still look like some of the original bunch is going to come out. So I should show you that whole bunch later. If I have time to go out to the chickens in this video, I will show you later. I might do that. We'll see how things go, and we'll rush into the next window. So I'll just pick this up and head in to this one. So here we are at this window. And this window, the only thing I do not have, I wonder if I can get some extra. There. The only thing I do not have here is I do not have a blind that comes down. So this one, I always have my cactuses near the back. They stay there through the heat of the whole summer, through the colds of the winters. Near the glass, they don't mind it. They've been happy, and you can see in the back this side, and my big grandpa one, and a beautiful orchid spiking back there, and it has 2 spikes on it. The other spike is here, and it has flowers opening, and I'm surprised. It's going to be a beautiful winter here with orchids everywhere, and that's the joy of making sure you know how your orchids are going to flower all the time. So here I don't worry about the glass at all because most of them are on the tables on the sides, and I'll show you a closer look, and then we're going downstairs. So let me unhook this. Okay. Yes. So just a quick look. Oh, these are very old that have been here in my traffic cones. They have so many leaves. And this is the one that broke, and these are the leaves of the kiki that's growing, and it has a beautiful spike. This one's flowering already. That's the other spike on this one. And you can see my cactus in the back. Winter or not, they stay there, and they seem fine. Of course, we get flowers on some of them, and so things are going pretty good. So I'm just going to shut off for a minute, and I'll join you downstairs, and we can say hi to Mom. Okay, here we are outside. There's Mom in there. She's at her puzzle table. And I picked a bunch of snapdragons, and even though it's winter, they're still coming. And I had these from seed, and I just had to pop outside and show you. So now we'll go in and we'll say hi to Mom. There. So there's where I put some of the snapdragons on this little table. So they're so beautiful.
My throat, I still have to cough every once in a while.
Here's Mom. You want to say hello?
Hello.
How's the puzzle going?
Not too badly.
It's getting there. What's she working on? So, yeah, she's got more to do, but it's coming. Look at cute little guys riding a tractor.
Yeah.
And Mom looks outside and she can see people walking down the street, and she can see birds bathing over there usually, but we seem to be missing some birds. Are we missing birds?
Yes, because they're not around when it looks like it's going to rain.
I know. They just go disappear.
Yeah.
So.
And it could rain within the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, and there's some pictures we have on the wall of Mom when she was a little younger, maybe my age. And there's a picture of her and Dad when they got married in England, because Mom was a war bride. And Dad passed it.
And Jack, he wasn't going to come here. He wanted to stay in England.
Your dad, yeah. Dad wanted to stay in England. And then I would have grew up in England. And Brian. So, yeah, so she's got some old pictures up here. And there's a picture, very old picture. I don't know if it's going to show up very good. Yeah, that's my dad's dad. Oh boy, that's an old one. So anyway, that's it, and we're going to go out and visit the chickens now. So I have to go back upstairs.
Cluck, cluck, cluck.
Yeah, so and we'll see you later.
Yes, because it could rain, so you might as well go
we'll
and get
take
it done.
Quick look at the chickens. Here we are outside. I'm just closing the door. And this is the plant. I planted two sets of mums, and I was afraid, that's why I brought them in, that it's going to get so cold and then they won't open. But inside their opening, there's one that's getting a little closer, but I just didn't want to lose them because, oh, There is a few flowers still out, not many, but a few. And I'm going to show you the temperature. Here I am without my coat on. So it's about 47, maybe 47 Fahrenheit. So yeah, I hear the chickens calling me. So let's go have a look at the chickens. I got 2 eggs this morning, and they're getting bigger. Now the other 3 hens are not laying yet, but we'll go right in so you can see. We'll go this way. So there's where they're laying the eggs. But sometimes they lay some in, oh, there's 2 hens in there. Who's in there? They dust bath in there. Who's in here? Huh? Who's down in here? What are you doing? What are you doing? You hiding in there? Are you? You going down the tunnel? Okay, let's go in and visit. That's Henny and Penny. I called them Henny Penny because of when we were kids, they had that story, Henny Penny and the sky is falling. Because they're a little more nervous than the other ones. So let's go in. It's a little awkward with opening the door and not letting them out. And just give me a minute so I can close it properly. There we go. Hi! 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 And that's Honey. That's Honey. She's laying eggs, isn't she? Huh? Honey's laying eggs. And this is Sweetie. Sweetie's laying eggs. Yeah. They're the 2 that, Honey and Sweetie, they're the 2 that were destined for a commercial laying thing. And, oops, they're coming up. They'll sit right in my lap if they can. And that's Mary Jo. Mary Jo's a little wilder. She lays blue or green eggs, but she's been getting better all the time. And the 2 dark ones, they're Henny and Penny. Henny and Penny. So I bring them grass in at lunchtime with some other treats. And then this morning, they had some oatmeal. There might be some left there. Yeah, I cooked it up so it was nice and warm for them. So they will eat that, and they got some Swiss chard leaves. And they also have a dust bath down here. And somebody said they needed a soccer ball to play with or something. So we gave them that ball and they attacked it. And it's been sitting there ever since. Yeah. And that's their little tunnel up to their coop. Yeah, they're very friendly. They're very friendly. They're very nice. We're enjoying them. Yes, we are. Aren't we? Yeah. And then I come out at just about supper time and I get them another little treat before night time. And they do come up here. They do sometimes come up here. Who's going to come up and visit me? Nobody. They're going to eat. They're going to eat. Yeah. Oh, hey. Mary Jo, you be nice. Mary Jo, you be nice. No, 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 no. Yeah, this one here is the smallest one. She's a Rhode Island Wren, and they pick on her. Yeah, they pick on you. Yeah, they have pecking order, and there's not much you can do about it. Mary Jo, behave yourself. Okay, there we are. And I'm going to say goodbye, and thanks for joining me. And I'm going to try and get more out there, but I do keep busy. Bye for now.